What's up and welcome back to the Gridiron with Chance Aspen. Make sure you subscribe down below, like this video, comment. Now, enjoy this video. Alright, welcome back to week number 10 of my 5 NFL thoughts. If you don't know by now, I give you 5 NFL thoughts every single week, and this is week number 10. Let's get into it. Thought number 1. What an epic QB duel on Thursday night between Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Now, normally I wouldn't talk about Thursday night in my 5 NFL thoughts for the week because it's just so far away from Sunday, but I have to talk about this QB duel because this is what you want in the NFL. There's been so much conversation around quarterbacks not playing at a high enough level this year. Quarterback play is down. But this game, we got it. We got it between 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, and both guys played well. That's a rarity when both guys play well in the same game. Obviously, the Ravens won, but Burrow played well, and so did Lamar, obviously. Both guys had 4 touchdown passes. Both guys were making spectacular plays. Both guys were terrific. And it's really all you could ask for between 2 top 5 quarterbacks. And I just wanted to talk about it because so many people have been talking about the quarterback play being down around the league. But we finally got to watch what elite quarterback play looks like in the same game for both teams. And it was terrific to watch. If you're just a football fan, even if you're not a fan of either team, you have to be happy watching that game because you're watching 2 top players performing at the best of their abilities. And it was great to watch. It really was. Thought number 2. The Kansas City Chiefs aren't a normal 9-0 team. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they're not as dominant as you would like them to be, if we're being honest. They've played in so many close games. And I know everybody's like, oh, they find ways to win. Look at them. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs just finding ways to win. Obviously, this weekend blocked the field goal against Denver and won. It's great. They're winning. But they're not the classic 9-0 team. Normally, when you're 9-0, you're dominating teams. It almost feels like Baltimore should be undefeated the way they dominate teams. But Kansas City, it seems like they're in a dogfight week after week after week. And I get it. They're taking everybody's best shot. They're defending back-to-back Super Bowl champs. So they're going to take everybody's best punch. But if you're really like that 9-0 team, you should be blowing some of these teams out. And to get a 16-14 win over Denver, Denver's okay, but they're not great. And it just seems like escaping week after week after week. And I only wanted to talk about this and them not being a normal 9-0 team is when does this finally catch up to them? Do they go the rest of the year undefeated, win the Super Bowl? I'm sure that's what most people think. But also I might think, come the divisional round or the AFC championship game, when do they finally just meet their match and their kind of luck but also just who they are runs out? When do they not make the play at the end of the game to win the football game? Because eventually it's going to happen. Even though people think it's not going to happen, eventually it will happen. When does that luck run out? Now, I'm sure if you're a Chiefs fan, you'd love for them to go undefeated. But I'm just saying right now, I'll have more confidence if they lose a game in the regular season because they don't make the play at the end than if they go undefeated. Because eventually that luck's going to run out. And eventually you're not going to make that play at the end of the game to win the game. Just the question is when is that going to be? If it's in the regular season, I think they have a great chance to three-peat. But if it doesn't happen and they manage to go undefeated, then I think they could be in trouble come playoff time. Because then they might not make that play in the divisional round or the AFC championship game or even the Super Bowl. And then it's over. Because in the NFL, you don't get 7-game series. You get 1 game in the playoffs. And if you don't perform, you're going home. Thought number 3. Watching that Denver game against Kansas City, even though Kansas City won, Denver has found their franchise quarterback in Bo Nix. Bo Nix is one of those guys. I never thought I'd be saying that. When I watched Bo Nix at Auburn, He was not even close to being an NFL quarterback. Not even close. But he got better. He went to Oregon. He improved. He got better at his mechanics. His throwing motion got better. He got better at reading defenses. And now in the NFL with Sean Payton, that obviously helps having a play caller like Sean Payton. But Bo Nix was legit. To go into Kansas City and face that defense, like that's a top flight defense. And to have the drives he had, sure they stalled in the second half, but he led them down the field. They should have made that field goal because he made big plays in that drive to extend the drive, which is hard to do against Kansas City. So even though they lost, I think you got to be happy if you're a Denver fan knowing you have your franchise quarterback in Bo Nix. Thought number 4. The Arizona Cardinals are so underrated. Like, they are an incredible football team. Now, they don't have the names, so I think that's why nobody talks about them and they feel so underrated. But they're sitting right now at 6-4. They're leading their division, and they look like a fantastic team. Like, back-to-back weeks, they've blown teams out. They just blew out the Jets. They blew out Chicago last week. Like, they're starting to look dominant in some of these wins. And you think, why are they underrated? Because of what I just said. They don't have the big names. Like, their defense has no big names. Unless you want to call Budda Baker a big name, but unless you're a diehard fan, you don't really know how good Budda Baker is. If you're just a casual fan, you're not really paying attention to Budda Baker in Arizona. Budda Baker's an incredible player, but he's just not an eye-popping name. Kyler Murray is, yes. But I think some people have given up on Kyler Murray, right? He's been hurt. He hasn't performed. He didn't perform when they made the playoffs a couple of years ago. So I think some people have moved on from the Kyler Murray experience. But he's still a fantastic player. He might be playing as good as he's ever played in the NFL. And Arizona just feels so underrated. They can run the ball. They obviously have Kyler Murray. He can throw the ball. He can extend plays with his feet. And they got a terrific defense. Right? Jonathan Gannon, even though he has no stars on that defense, he has those guys playing at a high level. And it is great to see. Watch out for Arizona for the rest of the year. My 5th and final thought here in week number 10, here it is. The New York Jets are done. It's over. It really is. And I know people want to still hold on that they're going to make the playoffs. They're an old football team. They have an old quarterback who looks old. Their offense feels like it's stuck. Nobody moves on offense. It's just line up and run routes. Aaron is old. Aaron cannot run anymore. Aaron cannot extend plays outside the pocket. His O-line has not been what I thought it was going to be. It's been bad. Aaron's been taking a lot of hits. And oh yeah, their defense has regressed from last year. Their defense has not been what it's been in previous years. I don't know why. It has like all the same players on it and it's added some pieces, but it just hasn't been what we expected it to be. And this is on Aaron. Like, Aaron made this bet to come to New York and it hasn't worked out. One, he's not the same player anymore. He's not even close. For a couple weeks, I thought Garrett Wilson took a step back. Came back to life and has looked like the Garrett Wilson we've seen the past couple of years. They obviously traded for Davante Adams, but he's not the same guy either. Him and Aaron are not even close to what they were in Green Bay. Davante is no longer that top 5 receiver in the NFL anymore, and Aaron isn't even close to being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL anymore. And it's tough. Like, many people thought they were going to go to Arizona this weekend and beat Arizona down. Instead, Arizona beat them down. And this all comes back to they fired their head coach. They blamed the head coach. And now it's proven to be that it wasn't the head coach's fault. Their team is not good enough. The names on the roster look great. But games aren't won on paper. And that's what the Jets are showing you. But that's my NFL thoughts. Again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment, and have an awesome day.